Good morning, Copers. Good morning, guys. How are you doing? I messed up. I messed up again. We missed the first half of the song on YouTube. I'm really sorry. I know you guys love that one. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Who's thinking what are you guys thinking what I'm we should run it back one more time. Who wants to listen to Get Naked by the Methods of Mayhem in its entirety one more
Wandering
time?
Neanderthal sent $5. I think my chat Gavin off last night, my B.
It did. It did. I'm gonna hold on. We'll come back to that. I know you didn't mean to, though. I'm not mad. I ain't mad. Am I not on Rumble? Rumble. Oh. What is happening? Bro, Restream is so sketchy. Did I actually? I did. I forgot to set up Rumble. Guys, let me set this up real quick and then I will I'll talk as I go. I'll try to multitask here. Oh yeah, we're just going to listen to the song again. I don't even have to talk. We're just going to listen to Get Naked by Methods of Mayhem featuring Mixmaster Mike, George who's the funk guy? Somebody said it in the chat. I was trying to remember his name earlier and I can't even remember. Clinton, George Clinton. And do that, turn that on. Is it Lil Kim? Is that the black girl? It's very 90s. Incredibly 90s. Fred Durst, of course. We all know Fred Durst. He's in like every new metal song. You think there's no new metal? It's not new metal unless Fred Durst is in there. Frankly, he is the poster child. Okay, I think we're live.
You are coping.
Hold on. It should be. Let me try again. Man. Yeah, you know what? You know why I'm out of
The
it?
Orthodoxer sent $3 back to day one. No fact, thanks, LP.
Yeah, the old Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson sex tape. I never watched it. I never watched. I'm not really. There's a lot of sex tapes I haven't seen. I will admit, I saw the Paris Hilton one, the famous Paris Hilton one. But I think that's like I've never seen Kim Kardashian. I think the Paris Hilton one is basically the only one I ever watched. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I've been up. I just never fell back asleep. So that's why I'm a little bit out of it. So I'm sorry about that. I don't feel that good, but we're going to try. We're going to do what we can. We're here. We're trying to put on a show. Yeah. So if you watched the progress report yesterday, it ended a little bit awkwardly. Gavin kind of stormed off and it was kind of awkward. And I wanted to sort of give my read on the whole situation. First of all, you should know he did his own show right before doing that show. So he had been going for like 4.5 hours. So you just get like fried. Your nerves get fried from trying to put on the show for that long. So that's part of it. And I think also, you know, a lot of people hate on Gavin and maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but they're in the chat, whatever, talking shit. I try to limit that. The mods know to ban that around here. And this is why, because it's like people don't want to, you know, I kind of feel bad for Gavin, honestly, because the only people who still fuck with him are like far right people who are further right than he is. We're like the only people who still fuck with Gavin. Like the libs think he's an evil terrorist Nazi. And the center, like the respectable types on the right, whoever those are, like the Benny Johnsons of the world, the Ben Shapiros, like, you know, the trigonometry, they're not going to talk to Gavin because there's too much stigma there. And those people are total cowards, even though Gavin is really a lib like them. He's is he even center right? Maybe he's a center right lib. Maybe But he's very liberal, okay? So the only people who still will do anything with him is people like me and Leonardo, because Gavin, whatever you might think of him being too moderate or cucked or he guzzles Jew cum or whatever you think, he's funny and a good entertainer, and he has some good insights. So he still puts on a good show, and he still brings a bit of a crowd with him. So I love to have the guy on when I can. But here's why I feel bad for him. So people like me and Leonardo, we're never going to give Gavin a hard time, but our audiences will. They'll do what you guys do. You bully and say he guzzles Jew cum and whatever. And, it sucks. So like the only place he can go where he can even like talk to people is the audience hates him. Not the people he's talking to, but their audience. Not all of them. So that's rough. And I think what happened was he'd been going for like 4.5 hours. The people are in the chat talking shit. He's probably keeping an eye on that. And then right towards the end, we got more into the Jew stuff, and Leonardo was like, "Oh, Gavin, you don't understand Jews," and I was like, "No, we're like talking about Jews," and I could tell he was kind of like he didn't want to get into it. He didn't want to like turn it into a Jew debate. So at that point, he's just kind of like, "All right, I don't really want to be here anymore. It's getting weird." LP's talking about how Jews are neurotic, and Leonardo's talking about how they go on power trips and that, and they're tyrants. And I think he's just like, I just don't really want to be here now. And then the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back was, wise to not have dono options. I just haven't had a chance to look at the site yet. I'll probably get to that eventually. I uploaded like a couple emotes today just to see how that works, but I want to upload a whole bunch more. But I don't know why should I not turn it on? Is it because it's like, are you saying it's like some kind of like security risk for the people? That would be my guess of what you're getting at, but I don't know. I don't know what you're really getting at. It was a decent show. It was a good, it wasn't like a great show. It was good. The reason I think it wasn't great is because the videos weren't that good. And I'm glad I'm doing the progress report again. And I'm glad that I've decided to also stream YCSP to YouTube again, with the caveat that I'm deleting the stream before it even ends. And the reason I'm glad I'm doing these things is because I have really gotten into like autopilot when it comes to YCSP. Like I just have not cared about it at all. And wanting to do a good progress report and also having more people watch on Sunday, both of those things makes me want to actually start caring a little bit again, and going through the week with like a focus of, I got to be picking videos that are going to be interesting to talk about. I got to make sure if I see something that I want to talk about that I make sure to put it in there. Anyway, so there was that super chat about Devin loving Israel too much, and I think he was just like, all right, I think Gavin thought, incorrectly by the way, that there was going to be a bunch of antagonistic super chats, and he just didn't want to put up with that. Well, it's really windy and raining, so if I drop, it's going to be a power outage, internet outage issue, just letting you know now. Getting some inclement weather by the looks of it. So he was like, okay, there's going to be like a bunch of antagonistic.
$3 greetings from the healthy justice loving white Ollie. Please don't deport me, but if you do, I understand. It will be an opportunity to preach the gospel in Israel and probably get spit on.
Thank you. So I think that's the real King Jewish. You never know at this point. You never know what's going on in the power. But yes, thank you. Thank you for the allyship. He's wrong. He was wrong though, for two reasons. First of all, I don't read antagonist. If somebody sent a super chat that was like, hey Gavin, why do you guzzle Jew cum? Sorry I keep talking about guzzling cum, but you know, you get it. You get the idea. I wouldn't read it. I would just skip that. I would just like ignore it, pretend it wasn't there as soon as I saw it. In addition to that, I wouldn't have had to do that because nobody sent a chat like that. Nobody, the only one was the Wandering Neanderthal one, which I don't think was antagonistic. I think that was good humored. Nobody expects Gavin to actually put that kind of editorial pressure on his creators. No one actually expects Gavin to be like, hey, Devin, you can't suck off Israel anymore. It was just a little like banter, you know? So I didn't think that was bad, but I think he was like, oh God, it's just going to be like 15 minutes of abuse. I'm leaving now. Now, here's what's funny. After the show, I emailed him and I said, hey, you know, sorry if we went too hard. I didn't think we were being crazy, but I don't know. I'm kind of retarded. And I hope there's no hard feelings. And also, just so you know, there was like some really nice super chats about you that you missed. Because there was one in particular, somebody was like, Gavin, like, saved my life and now I have a family and my sister has a family too. And like, it's because Gavin like saved us from being, it was like really nice. Like the kind of like the best kind of thing you could hear as a creator, somebody being like, you inspired me to start a family and now I have a family and I'm happy. It's like, that's pretty good to hear. It doesn't get much better than that. So I sent him that email and he emails me back and he was like, oh, I'm sorry I missed that or something. He's like, oh, darn, I would have, you know, like he wanted to hear the good super chats. And now here's where it gets really funny. Like 5 or 10 minutes later, I didn't respond. He was like, oh, you know, that's too bad. He said, oh, that's too bad or whatever. And I didn't respond. And then like 10 minutes later, I get another email from Gavin that says, can you send me the super chats? And I thought this is so funny because if you were watching the show, what he said when he left was, I don't give a fuck about your stupid $5 super chats. Right? Because like we're doing the show, we're right at the end. We're gonna do like 5-10 minutes of super chats and then it's over. And Gavin goes, Can I leave? And I was like, oh, well, I mean, we're just doing super chats, but yeah, you can. And he's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about your super. It was like kind of awkward, you know? It's kind of like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, man, you can go. And then and then I email him after. I was like, you know, there's some really nice super chats. And he's like, and he emails me, he says, can you send them to me? So that was just really funny to me. And I was downstairs, you know, with the family. And I'm like, okay, I have to go upstairs now to like try to find and organize these super chats because they're all over the place. And some of them were on Rumble, and I'm like trying to figure out how to find super chats on Rumble. And there's like, it shows you like with a ... And I'm like, oh, I know that's like that one and that one, those, but I can't figure out how to actually pull up the whole super chat. And then I eventually figure out that if I like mouse over it, it will show the whole thing in like a tooltip, but you can't copy and paste the tooltip. So now I'm writing an email to Gavin where I have the super chat open in a tooltip and I'm like transcribing it on my keyboard, which is really funny to me when he was like, I don't give a fuck about your super chats. Anyway, you can see them in Live Joiner. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. That's true. You can. Is there a way to see them all other than scrolling up, or do you just have to like scroll up after they faded? There's not like a super chat page, right, where it just shows all the super chats in chronological order. That'd be a cool feature. Although, don't lose any sleep over it because I don't usually have this problem. This type of thing that comes up once in a year. Yeah, it's because I know they're up there, but they expire, so they would have been expired by this time. Anyway, I just thought that was funny, and I just want to say, like, no, I love Gavin. I'm not disappointed or upset at all. I get it. It's why I ban people. It's why I get annoyed with people myself. I understand the whole thing. So, that's just my 2 cents on that. Okay, let's get into today's show. We got this new footage of Alex Pretti, the man who was shot by ICE, and it's not great. He is extremely aggressive. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this already, but let's just watch it anyway.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11
He said something like, I don't care about your $5 super chat. He might not have said, I don't care about your, or like, fuck your super chat. It was like, he's like, I don't care about your super chats or something like that.
days before Border Patrol shot and killed
Maybe he needs some tea. I don't know.
him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m.
Screenshot it and cut it. You mean screenshot the super chats instead of typing them out? I did think about that, but it's like then you're sending a screenshot in an email and you don't know, is it going to be embedded, or they're going to have to...
You stupid leafs, always getting angry and crashing out. Very feminine of you and Gavin. Go back to Canada, Leaf.
Yeah, well, tough words for an anon. You're really, really big, tough words for an anon. Why don't you hop on camera real quick and show everybody your face and show us your bicep? Huh? Why don't you hop on and flex real quick so we can decide whether or not we should take you seriously? Why don't you hop on camera and show us your deadlift? I'm just joking. I don't deadlift. Anyway. Did he smash the... Oh, he's about to. He's about to kick the van. He spits on it. He screams, "Assault me, motherfucker." He's just a very unstable individual.
We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle,
Built Ford tough, by the way.
grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground.
And he's got his gun on him here.
During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away.
He should have been in jail. He was still... Well, yes, thank you for stealing my thunder, but yes, exactly. And I feel completely vindicated in what I said when he first got shot, which was, I said the person most responsible for this is Alex Pretti. The person second in line for responsibility is Donald Trump, because Donald Trump should have invoked the Insurrection Act, and all of this kind of behavior should have resulted with, confinement in a cell. People doing this shit should have been in a jail cell. And if they... he smashed the back of their vehicle, their taillight, and what, nothing happened to him then? They just let him go? He wasn't charged with anything for that? They just let this stuff happen. And if they took it more seriously, he might still be alive. I'm not losing sleep over the fact that he's dead, but it's just funny how, when you're too easy on people, you end up hurting them along with everybody else. Especially when we're talking about criminals. When you're too easy on criminals, everyone loses, even the criminals. Prayers from real Christians for Woody the Pecker, please. Oh, for his pet parrot. Sorry to hear that, man.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Yeah, I saw that guy was acquitted. I didn't follow that case or the trial, much less the trial, like closely enough to have strong opinions about it. So yeah, I'm not even going to say anything because I don't really know the details. I know he like didn't go into the school. Like I know what everybody knew when it happened, but I didn't really follow along with the charges and all that. It's good to be here, living legend. I love Crusaders. I got to message Gypsy and tell him how much I'm enjoying the website.
Here, he continues to stand at the scene.
Sorry, so this guy was not a legal observer. He was not a protester. He was a violent belligerent. He was a mentally unstable, violent belligerent who, he's mentally unstable. That's really the key takeaway. He wanted to fight these officers. He drank the Kool-Aid fully. The left appeals to these mentally ill people and they feed them Kool-Aid. And some of these people, like Alex Pretti and Renee Good, they drink the Kool-Aid. Simple as that. Come do an exclusive. That's not a bad idea. I kind of want to raise my follower account on Crusaders, and that would maybe be a good way to do it if I tell everybody I'm doing an exclusive. And people want me to like talk to Flood, and I don't know anything about him, but I could do like an interview with him or something, do a stream with him exclusive on Crusaders, and then I don't have to worry about what he's going to say, not knowing him. Could be a win-win. I'll think about it. I'm very busy is the only problem. Like I really have like literally time for nothing, but I'll think about trying to do something.
On the day he was killed, the Department of Homeland Security claims Pretti, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, approached officers holding a handgun. That claim has been contradicted by analysis.
Flood is based as fuck. Well, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't know anything about the guy, but people are like, you got to get Flood on the progress report, and I'm like, I don't know. Is he gonna like come on and like scream all N-words must hang? Like I don't know what he's gonna do. he was talking shit about me? I don't know, man. I didn't hear it, but it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything, but it seems like he does that from what I've noticed, because I follow him on X, and it seems like I'm gonna be really brutal honest here from what I've seen. I don't want to start shit with people I don't know anything about, but from the little bit that I have seen, he seems a little bitter. Every time I see a tweet, he's shitting on somebody. He doesn't like Nick Fuentes. He doesn't like Handsome Truth. I don't know, man. I'm not judging. But if that's the thing, then I'm not really interested. So I don't know. But I hate to talk about people that I don't know anything. It's just, there's just no point.
Of bystander videos from multiple news investigators.
Are people saying this is AI? And I posted this on Twitter and somebody said it's AI. There's another angle. It's not AI, you guys. This is real. Holy shit. Some people are insane on our side. Okay. The left panders to the mentally ill, the kooks on the right. We have those too, though. We have people who are just insane. Everything is AI. Everything's a psyop. He's a brown man. All right. I really do not want drama, please.
Investigations, which concluded that Pretti was holding a phone, not a gun, when he was pinned to the street.
So that's the video. It's real. Okay, here's the other angle from the same incident. And in this one, you can hear him more clearly saying, assault me, motherfucker, screaming that at the ICE agent. Like he is so desperate for the ICE agent.
The Orthodox are sent $3 not able to watch live today. Going into confession in a few minutes. Wish me luck, Mr. Bliss Chilling.
Uh-oh.
Dad sent $3. Have you seen the ice doesn't melt conspiracy? It would seem the Goyim have gone insane.
I saw the Candace Owens tweet, and she's like, "What's going on here?" The thing for me is when I saw the tweet, and I didn't even really like think it was that funny or interesting because my brain does not function in Fahrenheit at all. So I guess the joke is she was saying it's 30 degrees, but the ice isn't melting, and I guess ice or water freezes at 32 Fahrenheit. Is that what it is? Is it 32? See that? Because I don't know. That's why. So I was like, I didn't really get the joke at first because I think in Celsius. And I'm still only have a rough idea of how Fahrenheit works. It's so weird. You Yankees and your crazy units, your crazy measurement systems. Yeah. So the joke is she was saying, why isn't the ice melting when the temperature was below freezing? That's the joke. And I mean, that's just Candace being Candace at this point. She's not that bright. Yeah, Celsius, but it's not like that. See, then I'm tempted to say, oh, so Fahrenheit is just Celsius, but you add 32, but that's not actually how it works. It's there's some weird formula.
Anonymous sent $3. LP's evil twin brother never got the coaxial cable beat down, and now look at what happened. Many such cases.
Dude, we put out a Bliss Chillin' put out a short of me talking about how they photoshopped Alex Pretti to look better. And literally like 2/3 of the comments are like, he looks like your twin brother. What are you talking about? Shut up, ugly motherfucker. When did I say I was good looking or anything? I never said that. All I'm saying is this guy's ugly and they made him less ugly. That's all I said. We all know I'm ugly. You don't got to point it out. Jeez. I never claimed I wasn't. Anyway, he's screaming, assault me, motherfucker, because he wants to like get into a gunfight, basically. That's the only like logical explanation. He wants an excuse.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Please play Mr. Bipoc by Chuds and Roses off of the album Appetite for Deracination.
Is that a real thing? Why don't you save it for tomorrow? Is that real though? I'm interested, but it's not $5 Media Friday. It's $20 Media Thursday. Why don't you come back tomorrow on $5 Friday and send that one in, and I'll play it for $5.
Every decision you made in your life is fucking wrong.
Orthodoxer sent $5. Dear Lord, dear sweet little baby Jesus. So small and tender, dear Mr. Bliss Chilling, I must confess to you. I am in love with a Jewish woman. I know this is wrong, taboo, against God. Please, leave your husband and take me in, Allison.
Okay, that's funny though. It's against God. That's good. Oh, shit.
Pepper spray, bitch! Fucking assault me, motherfucker!
You hear that? Fucking assault me, motherfucker.
Look at you! Pepper spray, bitch! Fucking assault me, motherfucker! Fucking assault me!
So this guy is insane, belligerent, violent, mentally ill, criminal. He's dead. He's also dead now. And I mean, what can we say about this? I guess like some people are trying to argue now that like ICE killed him intentionally because he was known to them. Like that's how they're trying to spin it. Cause it's like, how do you spin this? This doesn't look good. This guy is clearly not a peaceful protester. He smashed the back of their truck. We all saw it. So how do you spin this? And the way they're trying to spin it is like, oh, well, they killed him on purpose because he was so belligerent. Therefore, ICE are the bad guys. And there's no evidence to support that. It's possible he was known to them. It's within the realm of possibility, but you can't conclude that just off the fact that you have two separate videos. Yeah, so basically just like George Floyd. You guys are still saying this is a dude. It's not AI. Come on. You're trolling me. Talk about it's AI in the chat. Apparently Alex Pretti was a Gentile. I mean, I kind of called that from the start too. I didn't say, I mean, I didn't say he's definitely. I just said it wouldn't surprise me if this guy was like Italian or something. Yeah, bust, shoot me, nigga, bust on me. Bust on me. I agree. He has a very Jewish look. I agree with that. But the point is, sometimes people look Jewish, okay? And they're not. That's the point. Moist, critical. Yeah, and I'm not Italian, but I'm Anglo, and people say that I look very Jewish. So it's just sometimes, look, you know, some people are just ugly. Sometimes white people are just ugly. And you know what? Sometimes Jews are actually good looking. Sometimes they're conventionally attractive. Sometimes you can't, you know, you can't be sure just by looking. You got to check the foreskin if you want to know for sure. That's what I've been saying. We should, if we want to actually put this debate to bed, I say we bust into the morgue and do a foreskin check on Alex Pretti. Thank you, Uncle Semite. That's mighty white of you. Quick in and out. Quick in and out. Pull down the pants. Do corpses wear pants? Quick in and out. Snap a pic. Post it on 4chan.
And based on all of the video footage, all of the available evidence, this guy was not brandishing it or anything like that. Thus, he wasn't threatening anyone or about to shoot someone with it, so they had to kill him to...
Yeah, you guys want to see my foreskin? Will you finally shut up? My DNA test wasn't good enough. I got to pull down my pants.
Stop him.
I know. Yes. The goys are circumcised in America. I'm aware. And in Canada.
That doesn't seem to be the case. They're now just using the fact that he had a gun as a justification to kill him. That should be extremely alarming to anyone who cares about 2A. Like, again, him having it should not be an issue. And any real, actual American, like a real patriot, should be arguing for his right to carry.
Those are two separate things. Right to carry, sure. Not an issue? Well, I don't think it's that crazy to say that if you are armed with a gun, you have a responsibility to not escalate violent conflicts. because you know that that's going to be more likely to lead to a fatality than somebody who doesn't have a weapon on them. You know what I'm saying? Are you legally obligated to not escalate? I mean, when it comes to law enforcement, probably yes. In general, I don't know. Depends what you mean by escalate. We don't need to get all into the weeds on this. I think we all sort of understand what I'm saying. If you have a gun, it's not a good idea to go looking for fights. Okay, can we mostly agree with that? That it's not a good idea?
Because it is something that we have the right to do, and that should not be a justification for this man being killed by these agents. This point that they're trying to beat into the empty minds of a lot of people that are trying so hard to justify it is that the only people being arrested and targeted by ICE are rapists and pedophile illegal aliens, which is just not the case. There definitely have been rapists and pedophiles that have been...
Quite a lot. Way too many when you think about it. Crazy how many violent sexual offenders you find when you're looking at specifically non-white populations. I know the meme is that white people are the real child molesters or whatever. I gotta tell you, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And especially like rapists. So many brown rapists and child molesters. Just so many getting arrested every day.
Snatched up in all of this. And those rapists and pedophiles that have been caught and taken away, that's good. They shouldn't be out there breathing the free air. Great.
Okay, I'm glad we can agree that we don't want pedophiles roaming the streets.
But that's not all that's happening here. You could also right now march into the White House and arrest everyone in the White House, and you would get a ton of rapists and pedophiles. Why isn't that happening? If the goal is getting rapists and pedophiles off of American soil, thrown in the slammer, taking them away from society, why is it only just walking through the fucking streets of Minnesota trying to do it? You would get significantly more rapists and pedophiles if you took ICE and brought them to the White House.
God. Charlie, a.k.a. Moist Critical, a.k.a. Penguin Zero or whatever the fuck, a.k.a. Get a Haircut, you fucking hippie. This guy is like the poster child for like audience capture. You ever hear that term, audience capture, where you have to like pander to your audience even if it makes you look retarded or whatever? He's captured by Reddit. This guy is audience captured by Reddit to where he has to find a way to pander and signal to them while not trying to sound like a total degenerate shitlib retard. And so this is what they do, is they come up with this thing of, oh, you don't like pedophiles. Guess what? There's pedophiles in the White House. Why don't we arrest them too? Oh, guess you don't really care about pedophiles. And it's like terrible argumentation.
Nutter sent $3. Nutter story time.
Oh, God.
When I was in high school I used to cover my hands in glue, then when it would get crusty I would walk up to babes and show them my hands, then say I was thinking about you, and now this happened.
Okay, thank you for that. Here's why this is like an awful argument. It's because nobody on the right is against arresting pedophile politicians. In fact, we've been begging the FBI or anyone to do it for years and years and years. Okay. And if the FBI announced tomorrow, we're going to the White House to arrest, Donald Trump because he's a pedophile, you're not going to see me throwing myself in front of the agents, blowing a whistle in their face. You understand, Charlie? You're not gonna. I'm allowed to criticize retarded shit libs like Alex Petty because if they went to arrest pedophile elites in the White House, whoever that may be, and by the way, I don't really believe Donald Trump. That's like the subtext. That's why the reason they're carting out this argument is because people have decided that Trump is like guilty of something, but there's not actually evidence. There's not evidence that would convict him in a court of law. You understand me? So is the FBI or somebody sitting on evidence that we don't know about? Yeah, maybe. Maybe my dick's 13 inches wide too. Like, we'll just never know, I guess. But they want you to think that it's like a foregone conclusion that Trump himself is a pedophile, which because you're MAGA and you support ICE, then you would never support Trump getting arrested, even though we all know he's a pedo. You see what they're doing? So you're a hypocrite because you don't actually have principles, because you don't want Trump the pedo arrested. And it's like, Trump's not a pedo. But if or I should say, we don't have proof that he is. If the FBI wants to arrest him because they think they do have proof, then go for it. Do it.
CB sent $10. Charlie is appealing to a part of my conscience that doesn't exist. And I don't understand how liberals have such empathy for people who have lied and cheated to get to your country, to plunder what my family spent 400 years building.
Thank you, CB. Yeah. So these pedos, I don't want to spend all day on this, but final thoughts wrapping it up here. These pedos, and it's not just Minnesota that, by the way, he's like, oh, well, but we're only, no, all the places where ICE is doing these raids, everywhere where you have illegals, you have pedophiles and rapists. Minnesota, Texas, everywhere else. And it's not like hypothetical. It's not like they were mentioned in an email to Epstein, so maybe they're like rapists. It's like we know they're rapists, okay? And you're like, oh, you only care about that, but not arresting all these people in the White House. How about name some names? Who are the pedos in the White? Oh, what's that? You don't want to get sued for defamation? So instead of naming the names, you're just going to say the White House is full of pedophiles. And I mean, it probably is. That's why you can get away with saying that, because probably statistically speaking, there's some number of pedophiles in the White House. But why don't you name names if you think you got it all figured out? Anyway.
An administration is actively covering up a massive child sex trafficking operation and letting tons of evil people get away with this, tons of clients. So if the goal is to get this kind of evil out of this country, why would you not start with what is provably a spot that has so many of them? Also,
see what he just said? Provably. So he can prove that the White House is full of and so again, I'm just saying who? What are the names of the proven pedophiles? Trump's in there's emails of Jeffrey Epstein complaining about how much he hates Donald Trump. And it's but Moist Critical doesn't know that detail. Moist Critical just heard that Trump is in the Epstein files. And so now he's saying we can prove these people are pedos. Can you? In a court of law, you have proof. Let's see it. And what are their names?
That belief of
I don't even like any of these people. I don't want to defend Trump. I'm mad at Trump for doing a bad job. And he quite possibly is guilty of sex crimes. I don't know. But again, I'm repeating myself, the people who are getting arrested, who ICE is targeting with warrants and that, they are provable pedophiles. They're convicted of rape and what have you. Trump name being in the Epstein files is not proof that he raped a little girl, okay?
A secret pedophile ring was a very popular one among Trump voters for the longest time, and now that it has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be real, legitimate
beyond a shadow of a doubt
reality, they are now just ignoring it. They have been proven correct that there was a huge pedophile ring of these powerful politicians, but because some of
this is total shitlib, what do they call it? Blue Anon. the people who are most fighting for the release of the Epstein files are still right wingers, despite whatever myth you heard on Blue Sky, Charlie. It's still people like us who are saying release the Epstein files, even though we all kind of have moved on for the basic fact that it's like it's a waste of time. Think even talking about the Epstein files is a waste of time because nothing is going to happen. But the idea that Trump supporters are like,
Big Dog 2025 sent $3. Sorry, we can't deport Mexicans because it's tailist or something. I guess
really?
we'll just have to turn into a third world, brown shithole. Racially ambiguous Sidney.
Yeah, what even is he? I think he's like half white, half Korean or some shit. Anyway, I feel like this is way too obvious for me to spend so much time on.
Their favorite politicians are potentially wrapped up in it. They just want to drop it and forget about it.
When I hear like idiotic arguments, I just can't help myself but pick them apart. And I end up spending way too much time on it. But that was bad. Yeah. But you did a really good summary. Basically, we can't arrest illegal immigrants because the Epstein list exists. That's like a perfect summary of that whole 2.5 minute clip. Did you guys hear about this? Head of U.S. Cybersecurity Agency, CISA, Madhu Gatumukala, uploaded sensitive contracting documents into a public version of ChatGPT, triggering a DHS security review. He uploaded... Dude. Excuse me. And then this says, in December 2025, Politico reported that Gatumukala had requested to see access to a controlled access program. Need to know only whatever security clearance stuff. He wanted to see some stuff that had security clearance. And then it says, an act that would require taking a polygraph in June. Gatumukala failed the polygraph in the final weeks of July. The Department of Homeland Security began investigating the circumstances surrounding the polygraph test the following month and suspended 6 career staffers, telling them that the polygraph did not need to be administered. So we just have Jeets. What is it? We have Jog. You've heard of Zog? We have Jog. And they're just incompetent. Have you guys ever heard of CISA? Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. They must be, they're really secure when they put the word security twice in 4 words. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. So that's good. FBI executes search warrant on Fulton County Election Center. Excuse me, man. I gotta get this video going so I can drink some tea. For 6 years, the public has still not been allowed to inspect 145,000 ballots that 6 sworn affidavits say were counterfeit. A judge ordered these ballots inspected years ago. Fulton County refused. Excerpts from witness affidavits. Pristine ballots, difference in the texture of the paper with a different feel and no markings, and approximately 98% for Joe Biden. Hundreds of ballots with no folds or creases, perfect black bubbles, all for Biden. All had perfect black bubbles and were all Biden. I heard Biden over 500 times in a row. Trump won 2020 in a landslide, and maybe it's all going to come out. You know what's sad though? I like back when QAnon, the actual QAnon, right after the 2020 election, and it was like peak QAnon on Twitter, and everybody was like, stop the steal, and the army's about to like invade the servers in Italy and prove that the election was stolen by alien space lasers or whatever. You remember when shit got really, really crazy on Twitter there for a couple months after the election? I used to like think and pray, I got swept up in that a bit myself, and I like prayed that it would all come out in the light, because I thought, naively probably, that like these damn libtard retards would see, release the Kraken. They would see that release the Kraken. What the fuck was the Kraken even supposed to be? Oh my God, release the Kraken. The Kraken was like the proof that the election was stolen, but it never did get released. Anyway, they would see this and they would be like, oh, we're the bad guys. The Democrats are evil. Wow, maybe I'm just wrong about literally everything, and it's time to like give my life to Christ and become a good person. Billions of people or whatever, like 50 million Americans, and once they proved the election was stolen, they would be like, oh wow, I'm wrong about everything. Time to give my life to Christ. And then I saw Sam Harris saying how like there's nothing that was wrong that you could do that would be wrong if it, right? Like Hunter Biden could have like murdered children in his basement. It wouldn't matter. Like censoring his story in order to stop Trump was still correct. And that's how like most of them think. If it was proven that the election was stolen, most of them, they may not say it out loud, but they would think that it was justified to steal the election. So nothing would change. I am live. I stream every day since I brought back the progress report. I used to not stream on Wednesdays, but now I brought back the progress report so I'm live 7 days a week. Unless we don't do a call-in show, which would require missing the goal. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
Going inside of the election facility.
But you can find, if you look on the About page on my Crusaders or whatever, it says the schedule. It says my stream schedule. It's not the same time every day.
Our photographer was able to go inside. He was let inside and allowed to be up and close. As you can see, this is interesting because one of the questions we did ask Larry was if agents were restricting his access or asking him to back up at all. And he said that so far they've been allowing reporters to get up close to the situation.
They've only had like 4 years or whatever to try to launder these dirty ballots somehow. Do you think that's enough time? Do you think that's enough time for them to figure out how to like replace the fake ballots with ones that would look legitimate, ones that would pass an audit? Doesn't seem completely far-fetched. But we'll see what happens. Trust the plan, guys. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We mentioned this guy on the show yesterday. This is the guy who cured pancreatic cancer in rats. But that's very promising because rats and mice have very similar genetics to humans, weirdly enough. That's why they test so much stuff on them. And everybody on Twitter was just, talking about his like birth defect or whatever. We just commented on how it's funny that you could literally cure cancer, but if you're like deformed, people are going to be more interested in your deformity than, ooh, brother, ooh, can't we get a Chad to cure cancer? Curing cancer, but the guy's a Chad. Oh, can we AI upgrade this guy, Alex Pretty style? No, but hey, man, white people posting W's, Spanish scientists, the Spaniards officially white again, curing cancer. You're welcome, world. Have you thanked a white man today? We only went ahead and cured pancreatic cancer. You're welcome. White people posting W's. Eric Prince, I do not want U.S. foreign policy dictated by what is good for Tel Aviv.
The question is, who actually takes over? Iran has multi-layers of governance. Sure, the top layer is an awful, putrid one of a bunch of crazy mullahs, not loved by anyone, in fact, hated. But the fact is, if you remove that, who actually takes over? It's not going to be the Reza Pahlavi, the son of the Shah. There is no other natural leader. The protesters in the streets, yeah, some have been killed. Don't know if it's 30,000 or if it's 3,000 or if it's 300. Any number of that is terrible, but not our problem. It is not the primary responsibility of the United States. And I do not want U.S. foreign policy dictated by what is good for Tel Aviv. And I feel like that the Iran issue keeps getting.
Eric Prince is absolutely evil. Well, I say we give him $25 billion to deport the illegals. I say we give him a chance. He says he can get the job done. I say, why not?
Dragged back to the top of the focus.
Maybe we can take his evil and channel it for good. I don't even know why he's evil, though. What he did, like, what they were like in Iraq killing people or something. What did he do that's evil? I don't even remember. People used to talk about that stuff a lot back in the day. What is it called? Blackwater or whatever. Now it's all Black Rock, but what was this thing called? Blackwater? Blackwater. Eric Prince. It's one word. Private military company gained fame and infamy for pride and security in Iraq before being rebranded due to scandals, notably the Nassau Square massacre. You know, hey man, it's war. Shit happens. I don't know. I don't know the details. I don't remember. I remember people were really mad about something. All I know is the guy says he can deport the illegals, and he also says fuck Tel Aviv. That's a direct quote. Eric Prince, fuck Tel Aviv. The left's 2000s piñata. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a leftist back then. I was still like a lib back then. So I remember like being pretend outraged a little bit, not knowing actually anything about it. This girl is in a Netflix documentary getting recruited to do porn. And I was like, I hope she doesn't do that. She's so cute. And now she's dead. Yeah. Another porn star died of a drug overdose, fentanyl and cocaine. Many such cases. They, for every who's the girl? Sophia Rain, the OnlyFans girl who makes like $50 million a year or whatever. And I don't really know that much about her, but she seems like she kind of has her life together. For every girl like that, there's like a dozen who they just end up dead by drug overdose or suicide or whatever, murdered by a John or a pimp or something. Ugh. Rip. All right. Andrew Wilson on the Joe Rogan. This is 3 hours long. Obviously, I can't do the whole thing. We'll go at least an hour, and then we'll see if it's interesting or not.
Prove me wrong type things. Way before
They changed my minds.
Changed my mind.
Yeah.
What did Charlie say? Prove me wrong or something like that?
It was something akin to that. My understanding was that essentially TPUSA ripped that idea off from
Yeah, it seems like
Crowder.
it.
Yeah. And then I think he feels a lot of like responsibility for.
It's looking good. I was going to comment right off the bat. Shirt's a little wrinkled, but he doesn't look fat. And he doesn't look frail either. So that's nice. Good for him. I'm happy for Andrew, you know. It's like I said in the title, he got out of the ghetto. It's like when I'm like an aspiring rapper and he's a rapper and we're both doing like selling our little mixtapes out of the back of our car or whatever, and now he's on MTV and I'm just like, damn, he made it. Yeah, cigarettes. So I like the smell of cigarettes, but I like the smell of the smoke, but not the smell of like the embed. It's nuanced. The embedded smell of tobacco is gross. When I went to see the Bone Temple 28 years later, went by myself. Some guy was in my seat, of course. When I booked my ticket. There was like one open seat, like smack dab in the middle of the back where I like to sit. I like to sit in the back in the middle. And there was like one seat smack dab in the middle. And so I was like, okay, do I want to sit in between two people I don't know? Or do I just want to sit on the outside? And so I opted for let me sit in the middle, you know, fuck these people, whatever. I don't care. And then, of course, somebody's in my seat when I get there, and I got to do the, hey, man, you're in my chair. And
it's Clone Man sent $3 in Bitcoin. I want to detonate a pressure cooker bomb inside of the ADL headquarters.
What? Don't do that. I disavow that. And he's with his friend. And his friend is like, hey, man, you got to go sit on the outside. And so I'm like, okay, this is awkward now. Now I'm sitting next to this guy whose friend I had to kick out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I'm like eating my popcorn. I'm like, well, this is a little awkward, eh? Like you were here with your friend and now you're stuck next to me. I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. But the reason I brought this up is because the chair like stunk like cigarettes really bad. It wasn't like somebody had been smoking there. It was like somebody whose clothes just reeked. And I was like, ew, this is gross.
What happened with Kirk? Because
is he the Mossad?
What's that?
Is he the
Mossad? Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. I don't know. You got Candace's number? We can ask her.
Kansas is getting she's getting dragged on Twitter today because she's like, I've lived in Connecticut. I've never seen this much ice on trees, and it's 30 degrees out, and everybody's like, yeah, 30 is freezing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's ice on trees.
Like,
do you see all the Miss Cleo memes?
Miss Cleo?
It's so funny.
Who's Miss Cleo?
You remember?
Yeah, exactly, Bert. So if I'm outside and somebody's smoking a cigarette, I'm like, oh yeah. But that stagnant, the smell that gets in the clothes it's a whole different level.
You don't remember the Miss Cleo?
The psychic?
Yeah, the psychic. They keep on putting.
That's why I could never smoke again. As much as I feel tempted sometimes, I really like smoking. I really like cigarettes. Every once in a blue moon, I think about it. I'm like, maybe I could just like smoke one cigarette after supper and that, but it's like they stink so bad. I can't expose my kids to that stink.
Cleo memes.
My dad used to smoke it when I hated it when I was a kid, and I would ride him. I'd be like, you stink.
For Candace, because she's a psychic, you know?
That's hilarious.
It is funny.
I think this lighter just shit the bed. Can I borrow that other one? Thank you. Yeah.
It's really funny.
Well, Candace has painted herself into a weird corner where everything has to be a wild conspiracy. Like it has to be Bridget Macron's a man.
Oh, yeah.
Erica Kirk killed
Because you're a Jew. What is this guy? I saw this guy say something. Who is this guy? Who is this? Who said because you're a Jew? Local Susie Baka. And then, is he talking to me? Imagine promoting Goynip. Andrew Wilson is a fucking cuck who raises black kids that aren't his. Are they really black? I don't think that's true. Okay, good little goy. See, I saw that one earlier, and I was like, is this guy talking to me? What's he even talking about? You know what? I don't like your vibes, dude. I'm not gonna ban you. I'm not gonna ban, but I'm just letting you know I don't like your vibes.
I picked Sigs back up yesterday after the Jews made my girlfriend break up with me.
Oh man, is that real? I'm sorry to hear that. I've been there. When I quit smoking finally, and I had quit for like years, and then when I broke up with my girlfriend that I had been with for 9 months, we'd been living together for 6 months, and then I totally fell off the not smoking wagon and smoked for like 6 months or something till I finally quit again.
Charlie, it has to like one up the last one, you know?
Yeah. It's really funny he came to the same conclusion that I did. So it's like, I've seen those conspiracy channels come up before, and then they come up and then they crash out. And the reason is because, like, for her, I think she had the whole, like, she was involved with this, right? She was involved intricately with Kirk. She knew him. Yeah. And so that gave a lot of credibility to a lot of the things that she was...
She took my girlfriend. I've been there. Hey, man, they probably did.
Saying.
In one way or another. If it's not directly, it's just the brainwashing, you know. They turned her into a feminist.
But then once you start moving back into like Mandela effect stuff and you know, time travel.
Nah, she was cool, and I was like very, very angry, if you want to know the truth. I kind of fucked that one up, if you want to be real. All worked out in the end.
Yeah, people were like,
it'll work out for you too, Shift Demeanor. Okay? It all works out in the end as long as you just be you. Just be you. And if you're abusive, maybe try to be less abusive. If you were abusing her verbally and yelling at her and calling her a stupid cunt, try to do a little less of that. Don't ask me how I know.
I mean, you could do that if you're that guy, if you're Art Bell, you know, if you...
Well, you know, but Bell, I remember I used to listen to Bell all the time.
He's the GOAT.
Oh, yeah,
I got him up on the wall over there.
You remember that intro? Boom, 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 boom,
yeah.
boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so
From the Kingdom of Nod.
Yeah. I remember listening to him for years when I drive around with my dad. Right?
Yeah.
And he was it was a big deal. And I remember the very first episode I heard from him, it was something about the NIM. It was like,
what's the NIM?
The NIM were like, this guy called in, he was a time traveler, right? And he came back.
Are they talking about Coast to Coast? I didn't quite catch what they're talking about. It sounds like Coast to Coast, though. What was that guy's name?
Back in time because his whole thing was like, he had to stop the weather patterns from destroying the future because the NIM, an alien race of greys, had come and they were heating up the planet slowly to change it to be the conditionals that were necessary for them to then live on the planet. And you know,
Art Bell, that's it, yeah.
He's always playing into it with the lunatics, you know, and he's like...
See, I was thinking of The Secret of NIM, too, when he said that. The movie with the mice. It's a good movie.
Like, and...
I haven't seen it since I was like a kid, but I remember it being good.
Does the CIA currently know that you're there doing this? You know? And the dude's just like,
Yeah, Art would give you all the rope.
Oh, yeah.
You could call it, Art, I'm a werewolf. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever hear the Bigfoot episode?
No.
Oh, my God. That's the funniest episode you'll ever hear. So
Really?
Redneck calls into Art Bell and talks about how he killed Bigfoot and where he buried it. And the guy it's like, I don't know if it was early trolling, like before trolling was trolling, but it was like this guy, he was like, yeah, you know, me and Timmy, we took him out back there, we shot him right in the chest twice, and there were some youngins, and they spread out a little bit, and then we packed up the Bigfoot. And...
He is an anti-racist. Yeah, I kind of, I I pushed on him a little bit on that when he was on the Progress Report with Owen Schroyer, and we talked about setting up like a proper debate on race realism, and I've never followed through on that, although I think about it now and then. Especially because I learned more stuff since then. Because Andrew Wilson, he was doing the before Civil Rights Act, like black people had their act all together or whatever, which is something you hear a lot from conservatives. You hear that black people were basically model citizens until we gave them welfare, and then they turned into pavement apes because we gave them welfare. And it like turns out that's not actually true. And you can go back and you can find stats that disprove that. So I feel like if I did that debate with him, it would go good for me. But here's the thing. I like Andrew and I'm not trying to like ankle bite the guy. So, so I want it, excuse me. I want to like, I don't want to destroy him in a debate. I just want to convince him that get him to like actually change his mind about that. So I'm thinking about the best way to do that.
Buried him in the backyard. And Bell's just like, and you said there was youngins.
I gotta smoke a pipe, dude. I need a lozenge or something. It's my lack of sleep. I don't know. I'm all
The Bigfoot people are the weirdest. Duncan Trussell and I went hunting for Bigfoot once. We did this. I used to do this TV show for a while called Joe Rogan Questions Everything, and I would be like, "All right, tell me about."
I saw this morning on Twitter. Whatever podcast said we're looking for like good, strong opponents to debate Andrew Wilson, and I really for a second I was like, should I offer to do a race realism debate? But then I remembered there's no point because first of all, I don't think Andrew would want to do it on a big forum like that. And I know Brian doesn't want to do that on his show. These guys will debate feminism 6,000 times before they do a race real. Oh man, a race realism debate. Yeah, we would like to do that. But we have to actually have our 800th debate about feminism on that date. So
chemtrails, and I'd go meet with all the loons and all the people that are like really involved in UFO, anything like that.
Yeah.
And we went and hung out with the Bigfoot people. So we went Bigfoot hunting for like 2 days in the Pacific Northwest and talked to all these people, and they're all like the same person. I just said it's like a team of unfuckable white guys. It's like that's what you find. Like these guys are just like they found their calling. It's just looking for a mystery in the woods that you'll never solve.
Well, there was a guy you used to have on your podcast, and he was huge for a long time, and I think it still is. It's remember those missing cases, right? That's a big deal. And I was always like, anytime I heard anything about that, I always was enthralled with it because some of the stories were demented.
Yeah.
Like kids appearing 500 miles away and all this. But that guy always had you edged because people would always go, what do you think's going on? And he'd go.
But no, honestly, like I'm going to probably like put together a package as part of my prep for going back on No Jumper, which is not confirmed or scheduled or anything like that, but it's just this thing that I assume is going to happen when I start pushing for it. And I'll probably just like privately send Andrew some info and be like, hey man, take a look at this. Cause the reason I like him is I think he's like an honest guy. He's obviously not trying to go out there and like be controversial and blow up his very successful brand that allows him to do Joe Rogan and shit like that. But I don't like when he says the stuff about how like, oh, welfare ruined black. I think he just thinks that's true. I don't think he's like lying or anything. So I just want to give him some new info so that he can like, update the way he discusses that a little bit.
His name?
I can't remember it, but it was like missing.
Yeah, missing
411.
411.
Yeah, missing 411.
I've seen him on Instagram or on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got all the park records, and he started going through and he was like, there's some really weird stuff going on here for how many people are missing in national parks.
There is, but the reality is if you die in the woods, you get consumed pretty quick. That's the reality. That's why you don't find.
Yes, standing. That's true. And I don't begrudge him that. I think, he hides his power level, honestly, but I also think that he just doesn't quite know how bad it really is.
Find mountain lion skeletons. Mountain lions are a real thing. I've never found a dead mountain lion skeleton in all the times I've been hunting. Never, not once.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead because they're talking about hunting and I don't care. And I just want to this is like 3 hours long and let's maybe skip some of the small talk.
Like a lengthy thing to get
for
through.
Sure.
I'm glad you're a gun guy because I wanted to bring up this whole thing with this guy, Pretti.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked about it. We haven't done a podcast since that guy got killed. But that whole thing, there's a lot of people that don't understand what's going on and why riots only in Minneapolis and why riots in the place where there's an ungodly amount of fraud that has been discovered.
Coincidentally, around the same time.
Exactly. Like instantaneously afterwards, the narrative completely changes. Everybody forgets about the fraud. Now all anybody cares about is ICE and fascists and Nazis.
Yeah.
And it's there's what a color revolution is.
Of course.
And for people that don't, it's a coordinated effort to cause chaos. And this is a very coordinated thing. The idea that this is an organic protest, these riots are organic, is nonsense. It's provably nonsense because now they have access to the Signal chats, so they know that these people.
Cam Higbee, by the way,
yes,
he's been on the front lines of this. The Crucible has been a big supporter of that effort. My channel. I will often snipe his coverage while it's going on, send my audience over to send in super chats in order to keep this guy going. I think that work is critical.
Yes.
It's critical work, and there's not that many people doing it anymore because of how dangerous it has become.
Yes.
And so I'm a big supporter of that. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he says politically, but what he's doing on the ground there needs to happen.
Right. You need to understand that this isn't organic. Regardless.
Sig brand tier list. Well, all you need to know is Du Maurier #1. Do you guys even have Du Mauriers in This is what I used to smoke every day. Du Maurier. These bad boys right here. And then they started making cigarette packs ugly and putting disgusting pictures on all of them in Canada. And it was a real vibe kill. I smoked a lot of these packs that had these pictures on them, but yeah, that was my brand, Du Maurier Signature. It's good stuff. My dad, he was a hipster. Not really. It's in Canada, it's a very normal brand. It's very mainstream. It's not really that hipster. But my dad smoked oh God, what are they called? They're even more mainstream. Common Canadian cigarettes. I don't think they're Canadian though. They're like the Export A. My dad smoked Export A lights all his life.
Regardless of how you feel, I don't feel like that guy should have been shot, but I understand what happened. And what happened was chaos. So what happened? First of all, it wasn't ICE. People need to understand that. It was.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm over Alex Pretti too. Let's skip ahead more.
The tweet says Dungeons and Dragons in it. I don't even know.
Oh God.
It says Dungeons and Dragons nerds means business. I think.
Oh. So
he's doing
do a search on that. Does roll initiative, is that a part of Dungeons and Dragons? Roll that, because I only know of Dungeons and Dragons from Stranger Things.
Does his AR do 2d6 damage?
Jock never played D&D.
But it's just the menacing way that he stares into the camera.
Determines
Okay,
your
here it
turn in
is.
combat.
Rolling for initiative determines the turn order in combat. Each player and monster rolls a 20-sided die and adds their dexterity modifier. Oh, God. But, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's a lot of it is cosplay.
That does sound like he is saying, though, we all go there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
okay.
sounds like that's what he's saying. And it's also, it gives meaning to people whose lives.
Not the lung cancer. I'll take the stillbirth teeth. The worst was the teeth one. One of them was like your teeth are all going to get all jacked up if you smoke, and it was like just a really gross picture to look at.
Lives do not have a lot of meaning, right? Like all of a sudden you're a part of a greater cause. You're a part of a very
Ked's
important
dad
movement.
sent $3 young LP would get in trouble for smoking cigarettes by his dad. Then would be like you're a hypocrite dad, you smoke a pack a day. Then coaxial cable across the face. This is my head canon.
It wasn't really like that. When my parents found out I was smoking cigarettes, they staged an intervention that lasted about 5 minutes where they were like, don't smoke. It's really stupid. You shouldn't smoke. And I was like, whatever. Whatever, mom and dad. And then I like that was it. And then I just kept smoking and they just kind of gave up. But what was I gonna say? I lost it.
You're stopping Nazis.
Yeah, you're stopping Nazis, and it's relatively safe from the comfort of your own home.
Well, we watched the D&D video. We already watched that on. So if you guys missed it, it's like a TikTok of a shit lib going, when combat starts, we all roll initiative. It's like, are we sure that guy's not like trolling or doing satire? You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually just satire, frankly, but it is funny.
Wandering Neanderthal sent $10. I used to smoke Newport menthols until my older brother bullied me out of it, always calling them Gorilla Mints and Nports. I switched to Lucky Strikes before quitting.
There you go. We need people to understand that weed is black coated, cigarettes, everything that's bad for you. Everything that's bad for you is like being black.
Staring at your phone on TikTok.
Sure.
And you get all excited about it and you cheer. And these are the same people that cheered when Charlie Kirk got shot for just talking. Like, that was fine. But this one is not good. It's all like, it's very fucked up, man.
Well, and they'll kill more commentators. They can get away with it. Happily. I mean, part of that whole signal chat that's dangerous that people aren't talking about, that's probably the most dangerous aspect of it. And I can't prove this, but it's been my experience that left-wing communities and left-wing groups, especially online communities and online groups, really pander to the mentally ill in a big way. Really pander to them. And I think that it's a form of weaponization. They want to attract the extremely mentally ill into these communities, and it helps.
If you are demotivated to begin with, cannabis is an attenuator. Nigga, what are you using your grade 11 words for in here? Attenuator. Device that reduces the amplitude or power of a signal. Does that mean it makes you more demotivated? I mean, obviously we all know weed makes you lazy, but I wasn't sure if he was trying to do this weird pothead cope of like, well, if you're already lazy, weed actually makes you not lazy. Like potheads come up with all kinds of weird justifications for why they need to smoke. So I wasn't sure what he was trying to say, and I'm still not sure.
With actually what is radicalization, and they play on the fact that they're mentally ill in order to do this.
Well, this is Antifa, right? Like this is why
it's not just Antifa. It goes beyond that.
Sure.
Like If you go to some of these TikTokers communities, you go to some of the online political pundits communities who are far left, okay, these people who are in there are Fruit Loops, man.
Yeah.
They are lunatics, and they're pandered to. They're pandered to. Oh, okay, you can't say this to them. That's ableist. You can't tell them this is you're a weirdo because that's mean. You can't. And not only are they pandered to, but I think that that's the source of the weapon. If it's the case that these people don't care about death, they don't care. Like, the outcome's going to be death. That guy who shot at the ICE agents not too long ago. Remember, he was on top of the roof. He was shooting across with, I think, a Mauser rifle, and they
shot 2 Mexicans and then blew his own brains out. But I was joking about that when I was talking about one battle after another, because in one battle after another, the leftoids are like.
Andrew was attacked by the NS crowd on X after criticizing a woman he thought was a feminist. She was an S, so he deleted the post and apologized.
Okay. Well, that's a nice little anecdote. I don't think it reflects poorly on him. Yeah, it just goes to show, like I say, I think he hides his power though. That's what, and I'm not trying to like, he's really like a Nazi or whatever, but I think he's like, you know, he's our guy. He's our guy on the inside. He's our guy on Rogan. Not quite. Now, NS is National Socialist. I don't know whatever interaction you're talking about on Twitter. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see that, but the fact that he apologized is like that doesn't reflect poorly. Was it? Oh yeah, one battle after another. The leftoids like take on the U.S. military and like they take on an ICE camp and like free all the illegals. Or it's like a total shitlib fantasy. You know what I mean? But in real life, it's like the guy's just shot 2 Mexicans and then blew his own brains out. It's like that's what you're supposed to be satirizing. How do you even like?
They dusted him, they killed him, or he shot himself. I don't remember which.
When was
he shot himself?
This was a few months back.
I don't know about this one, I don't think.
No, there was a guy,
It's just how callous I've become.
Yeah, he was taking shots at, I believe it was ICE agents in front of the ICE facility.
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
he was using, I believe he was using
that.
like a Mauser rifle or something.
Yeah, okay, now I remember.
And early on with the Charlie Kirk thing, they were actually making these connections.
Weed is for blacks is what nervous kids on Adderall say. Well, I'm not on Adderall. I'm only on pharmaceutical prescriptions like TRT. And even that, I take a very low dosage. I smoked a lot of weed, though. I smoked hella weed. I was like, Dave Riley, when I went to Idaho there, and when I went on the Backlash, and we had supper, and then Dave was like, he's like, are you on the nicotine? He like pulls out his pouches. He's like, you got to get on the nicotine. It's so good. I was like, what? What? He's like trying to like tell me how if you take nicotine pouches, you're like super focused and productive. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow, well, that sounds really good. And then I asked about it on Twitter, and people were like, how much for some tests? Like, you mean how much for like the testosterone? I don't know. I'll debate you on cannabis. That's okay. You can call in on Saturday and we can talk about it for like 5-10 minutes, but we don't need to do more than that.
Because he had used a Mauser as well.
Anyway, somebody was like, you know, people say that like, yeah, the Zyn pouches or whatever, it makes you like really focused. And I'm like, man, I could use an edge. I could really use an edge on the competition. Oh, and somebody said that it was like Adderall, but without, I don't know, the addicted or without the twitchiness or so. He said something like that. Yeah, testosterone is not expensive, but I go through Merrick Health, which is expensive. So it depends if you want to go for the bougie option or the cheap option.
Right, to shoot Charlie Kirk. That was the So people were making those early connections. Wait, is this a sequence of events? Does the Mauser mean something here? Does that particular rifle have special meaning? You know how people are online.
Yeah.
But anyway, the interesting thing is, like, they don't care if they die. They're dying martyrs. They don't care. And it's really easy to weaponize mentally ill people that way because they don't care. These are the same people who have the high suicide rates for a reason.
Yeah, so this is what I've been saying. They're mentally ill. They pander to the mentally ill.
And because they're already mentally ill, like the Troons and others, which many of them you find are connected to trans people almost every time.
Also SSRIs.
Yep.
This is the other problem, is that how many...
$10 a month? Damn. Are you getting that shit from India? Where's it made? Is it made in Tijuana?
Many of these people are on these psychiatric medications that...
I was looking up L-carnitine on Reddit, and somebody on Reddit was saying they make their own L-carnitine and that it's super cheap.
Violent ideation is a part.
Why not up the dose? Because I'm trying to get my wife pregnant is why.
Part of the side effects of these these psychiatric drugs. There's a lot of people that have psychotic thoughts when they get on some of these different SSRIs and different psychiatric medications. So you've got people that are already fucked up mentally, and then you've got them on these medications that cause them to do all kinds of crazy things.
And aren't women taking much more in the way of SSRI pills than men are?
Yeah, I take creatine too. I take lots of supplements because I get them for free from Prozis, which have very good supplements, and you can save 10% with promo code LP on your supplements from Prozis.com.
Yeah.
And who do we see on the bullhorns and loudspeakers at most of these events? It's women.
Well, particularly liberal women.
Particularly liberal women, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the statistics, but I
very lopsided.
Save them because they're kind of nutty. What's interesting is the least mentally ill in terms of numbers is conservative men. Conservative men,
What? The straight white guy that everybody hates has his shit the most together. That's crazy. I mean, this is like, do people not know this stuff though in 2026? I'm not trying to be a hater, but it's like these are factoids that are 10 years out of date in terms of being like fresh and interesting. But I mean, it's stuff everybody should know. But it's just like the fact that libs are so mentally ill and lib women are so like, isn't that just the end of the debate right there? How are you going to tell me how to structure society? You can't structure your own life. Yeah, I know the ferryman. I like him. I don't like know everything about the guy, but I like what I've seen. I invited him to the Murdoch thing. I don't know about but the year before, and I think he said he was busy or something like that, and so he couldn't come. But Jeremy McKenzie was there the year before, and then this past one he couldn't make it. But I like those guys. I like Ferryman. I like Jeremy McKenzie.
Think it's like
because they're normal.
I think okay. Young liberal women, 56% report a mental health diagnosis. Young moderate women, 18 to 29, 28%. Young conservative women, 27%, only slightly less. So for men, it is 34% of all liberal men. 34%. So a third of all liberal men are mentally ill, 22% of moderate men, and 16% of conservative men.
Yeah, but do you know what the lunatics argue when you bring that up? These lunatics, they'll argue.
And like, there's also, not to get religious on you guys or anything, but this also correlates with religiosity as well. I'm not saying it's because of religion exactly, but the conservative men are more Christian. They take it more seriously, and the liberal women are like the least Christian. And I do think it's just worth noting that, because that's like your moral framework affects the way you live your life, right? If you believe promiscuity is immoral, you're going to make more of an effort not to do that kind of thing. And guess what? Then you look at the science of like what happens to people who are promiscuous. Guess what? They're fucking mentally ill. Guess what? It correlates with being mental. So, you know, what causes what? Are you promiscuous because you're mentally ill, or are you mentally ill because you're promiscuous? I lean more to the latter. I think immoral behavior makes you not respect yourself. And I think that's mostly what mental illness is. People just throw around the term mental illness like it's like you catch it like a cold or something. It's mostly depression, and it's the source is mostly a lack of self-respect. And the lack of self-respect is downstream from you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. That's what I think.
No. The conservative men are just as mentally ill. It's just undiagnosed because there's a stigma in conservative communities about
that's what they say.
to get your mental illness diagnosed. And I always point out, and I think this is an interesting way to point this out, like maybe they're not going to get diagnosed because they don't have a problem. Did you ever think of that?
It's possible. It's possible it's undiagnosed, because I think that is accurate, though, that there is a stigma.
I mean, like, yeah, again, lots of things are possible, but that's not. If you think conservative men are as mentally ill as shitlib women, you are not going to make it. Okay, it's possible, but it's also obviously not accurate. Diagnoses are bullshit anyways. You either have your shit together or you don't. Mental illness doesn't mean anything. Can you pay your rent? Do you pay taxes? That's like a real metric. Who do you think pays more taxes, conservative men or liberal women? That's like a real metric. I don't care what diagnoses your faking gay psychiatrist gave you. How much taxes do you pay?
About mental health and therapy and things along those lines.
How much taxes do you pay? How many kids do you have? Is your marriage stable? Like, are you married or divorced? You know, those are like real metrics. Mental illness is fake and gay.
I mean, if you want to, like,
I agree, but I also think that what happens is when you're talking, especially about the voodoo that is psychology, and it is.
And education is also fake and gay. The libs love that. They love to say, oh, liberals have more college and university than conservatives. And it's like, yeah, because you're studying like African studies. You go to school to learn about systemic racism. Like, that's not a real metric. Who gives a shit?
Is voodoo.
It is voodoo.
I have very little respect for psychology.
Right.
I don't even consider it science. I consider that there's scientific methods used for data gathering, but I don't consider psychology a science at all.
And that's psychology. Psychiatry gets even weirder because then you start adding medication.
Yeah.
You're not just talking about therapy.
It's all voodoo as far as I'm concerned. I think that men often...
Behaviorism, I don't actually know what that means, but I'll hazard a guess intuitively on context. It's that what you do shapes you, like who you are and your mental. Is that it? I mean, that's obviously true. And not only that, but I believe in thinkism, which is that you're responsible for your thoughts. And making sure that you shape your thoughts in a way that makes you the kind of person you want to be. Let's see. Behaviorism is a learning theory focusing on studying observable, measurable behaviors rather than internal. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's just what I said, isn't it? Yes. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mental illness isn't a real metric. How much taxes do you pay? I guess that's basically behaviorism, right?
And especially conservative men get as much out of their close relationships with friends and family as they would going to a psychologist. In other words, I think just having somebody to talk to.
Yeah, thoughtism. I believe in behaviorism and thoughtism, which is the school of thought which states that you are responsible for what's up here, and you have a personal responsibility to not indulge bad thoughts so that you can be a good person, basically. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but I think you get the gist.
Who's a close friend, who's intricately familiar with your
How much
situation.
taxes do you evade? Also a decent metric.
Probably gives you more value than going to a complete stranger who has learned manipulation techniques. That's what they learn, essentially, is manipulation techniques. I think there's more value there. And so I think that the stigma which exists there doesn't exist because it's like you're not manly, which is how they try to frame it. I think the stigma exists there because so many conservative men go, well, I tried that shit and it was nonsense. I tried it and it sucked. I tried it and it was worth. I went to marriage counseling, did nothing. Sided with the wife, right? I went for this issue, did nothing. But when I went out and had some beers with my friends, that actually helped relieve some of these issues.
I think the problem with that is there's a lot of guys who don't have good friends, and you don't have someone that you can count on, unfortunately. There's a lot of men out there that are lost.
I agree, but I think that the conservative men seem to like they have closer longevity with friends than progressive men do.
Yes, and they don't abandon them when they change their opinions on things.
Right.
So here's the self-reported data. From 2022 survey analysis found that 51% of conservatives report excellent mental health compared to 20% of liberals. That's a big difference.
Huge.
It's a giant difference.
I don't think stigma could account for that.
No, it can't. It's like it's not just stigma. It's also like what does it mean to be conservative? Does it mean taking account for your own actions, discipline, hard work ethic? All those things are actually good.
Yeah, this is something I think about. Like, what when people say conservative, what do they really mean? And to me, it basically means Christian. Which I know there's probably a lot of people who consider themselves conservatives who aren't Christian, and you can be far right and be conservative. It's not really like to me it's morality is what I'm getting at. You don't even have to be Christian, but if you have a very Christian-like morality, then you're kind of in that conservative box. Whereas if you have a liberal morality, then you're a liberal. And so basically, if your morality basically comes from the Bible, you're conservative. You don't have to be a Christian to get your morality from the Bible. You can just be like, yeah, that makes sense, so I'm going to go with that. But if you're like, well, as long as there's consent and you're not hurting anybody, right? Then you're a liberal. So to me, that's sort of the main thing. And that's why there's a lot of people who consider themselves conservatives or who consider themselves like right wing or whatever. And to me, they're just liberals because they have their moral framework. If you grill them on it, it's like that guy who was arguing that porn is just a vice. And so a little bit of porn is okay. It's like very liberal, right?
For your mental health, like pulling yourself up and getting back to work and doing things.
I think now, and I think maybe it always should have been framed this way. I think now for the label of conservative to apply, we really kind of start with religious foundationalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is fast becoming the delineation.
Right.
See, he gets it. Great minds think alike.
Framework.
Having the framework. Right?
Yeah. So do mid minds like me and Andrew.
And the religious framework is almost instantly going to put you in that, moving towards that conservative camp almost every single time. And
it's a difference of moral
I think that's
frameworks.
a necessary component now. If we're trying to make these political delineations, it becomes tough. What's a Republican or a neocon versus a conservative versus a...
Right, so people are like, well, I think you should be allowed to have guns, so I'm a conservative. It's like, okay, but if you also think I should be able to, like, be gay or whatever, have a lot of sex out of wedlock, whatever, and not necessarily like I'm not saying it should be illegal to have sex out of wedlock. That's not what I'm saying, obviously, but you know what I mean. That should that be frowned upon, or is that totally fine? That's kind of more the fundamental issue. And because conservatives are like, well, that should be frowned upon. You know, it's not okay. It's not okay to be promiscuous. It's not okay to be gay. Because they believe those things, that's why they make better communities and better societies. Because when you just let that shit go rampant, you get what we have now.
As versus that, it comes down to foundationalism of framework.
Right.
Like you were just saying, in the framework of Christianity, Christian ethics, huge delineation point between the right and the left, who rejects that for harm principles, utilitarianism, and various other sorts of
harm/consent. I say that all liberal morality is harm and consent, whereas conservative morality is what does God say?
Frameworks.
Yeah, and they'll also point to, you know, what Christianity has done throughout history and the amount of harm that it's caused. But it's kind of like every power structure throughout history you could point to in that way.
Spanish Inquisition. Look at all the harm, crusades. Dude.
Well, it was what was there.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, the Catholic Church...
Christianity should be causing a lot more harm right now. if we want to fix the problems we have, Christians are going to have to start causing a lot more harm than they have been. Harm is the idea that harm is bad is liberal. That is fundamentally liberal. We can fix a lot of our problems with a little harm, actually.
Catholic Church gets a lot of shit for this. Well, look at...
Some niggas are going to have to get harmed, Joe.
All the horrible things that the Catholic Church did. And it's like, well, the Catholic Church was the whole known world once.
Right.
You know, all of Europe was the Catholic Church.
Right.
Not, you know, like all of it was.
Right.
You can't have organizations which span whole nations and countries, ethnicities, cultures, integrate themselves into it and not have corruption. That I don't care what's...
I mean, chain smoking will definitely catch up with you eventually. I couldn't like take a full breath. When you're a smoker, you have shallow breathing and like forget about your cardio. You know what I mean? It took me, after I quit smoking, it took like a year of doing cardio to maybe not a year to get to a full breath, but to get to like being no longer out of shape. So smoking is stupid. I just like the idea of it. It just looks cool and it feels good. But it's obviously really fucking stupid to actually do that. No disrespect to my smoker bros, but you shouldn't smoke.
System it is. Pointing to it and saying it's because they were Catholic. That's where it becomes absurd.
Right.
Look, man, if you can run 2 miles in 20 minutes, then I guess go ahead. Can you do that though? Can you do 2 miles in 20 minutes, Mr. Smoker? Mr. My cigarettes are organic. Oh, your cigarettes are organic. Well, can you do 2 miles in 20 minutes? That's the only question. I don't care if they're organic or full of pesticides. I only care, can you do 2 miles in 20 minutes?
Corrupt. There was corruption. But
because
that's
they're
not
human.
Because they're human, not because they're Catholic.
Right. One of the things that I always try to point out to people, they go, why do you go to church? Like, because when I was younger, I was very cynical about religion. And then I've gotten older. One of the things that I always say is, if there was a pill that could make you as nice as the people that I go to church with, everybody would be on it.
Yeah.
They are the nicest fucking people you will ever encounter. When we leave the church
nice or are they
parking lot,
kind?
They're kind.
Yeah, they're kind.
Kind and nice. They're all the above. They're like very friendly, happy people. But when you leave the church parking lot, or even when you're entering, they're they.
No, you can't. No, you fucking can't walk. So that's a 6 mile per hour pace, right? That's not walking. I know because I do treadmill. That's jogging for me, and my legs are probably longer than yours. So whatever. I don't know how long your legs would have to be to walk 2 miles in 20 minutes. But you're full of shit, mate. Okay, don't shit a bullshitter or whatever they say.
Everybody lets everybody in. It's like no one rushes ahead. It's like you go ahead and then you go ahead. It's like the most self-organized, most charitable way of exiting a parking lot I've ever experienced in my life. The opposite of a concert. You go to a great concert, everybody's like fucking on every.
Yeah, a 10-minute mile is a 6.0 on the treadmill, and that's not walking.
Everybody's bumper trying to weasel in. People are honking. Fuck you. In church, it's like one person goes, and another person goes. No, you go. Wave, and then everybody's fine and everybody's happy. It's like if you could take a pill that could do that to you, if therapy could do that to you, we should all be on therapy. We should all take that pill.
Philosophy can do that for you because the phenomenon that you're talking about
accepting Christ into your heart can do that for you too.
Is the me philosophy
if you do it authentically.
And so you're going to church, it's not all about you.
Right.
And that's why you have those types of interactions with people. Wait, you go to a concert, that's for you. Mm-hmm. That's for me, not for these strangers. I'm going there because I want to be entertained. That's for me. You go to church, it's not for you.
Right.
And the thing is it's the kind of materialism view, the materialistic view of pure materialism. Reduces always to me, me, because what else can there be?
Right.
There's just me and the material I engage with. There's nothing outside of that. So why engage as though there's something outside of that? That doesn't just lead to nihilism, but it's the beginning stages of understanding the distinction between religious foundationalism and basically everything else. The reduction doesn't come down to me. And that's why those interactions seem so much better, because they are, because people are thinking about you.
Right.
And it's like, what a concept. Imagine a world where people think about somebody besides themselves.
And they can think about everybody as a part of a community.
How fast is speed? I would say once you get to 5 miles per hour, you're not walking anymore. It's a little debatable, but 6 is definitely like over the line. You know, when does a fast walk become a slow jog? That's debatable, but I would probably say it's around 5 miles per hour. So speed walking is probably like 4.5 to 5 tops.
And a collective community that you care about, that has value to you. And there's...
And then you go, why is the mental health rate so much better in these communities? It's like, well, isn't it interesting how much they think about other people than just themselves and duties to those people instead of just me.
They're the kindest people you're ever going to come across.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value in that. And I think the people that are...
It's true. That's why, the best way to, get converted to Christianity is to spend time around Christians, because they are decent people when you get to know them, generally speaking. Which, again, guess what? Everything Hollywood and shit Liberty taught you about how Christians are actually vile, evil. It's everything that you get propagandized about from a young age is all wrong. Are there shitty Christians? Of course. Of course there are. But go to a church and just meet some normal salt of the earth people. They're probably really nice.
Cynical about that because they don't want to believe in fairy tales, or they don't want to be stupid. They don't want to get duped by there's a foundation to that. If you just forget about some of the stuff that's in the Bible that, it gets weird when you get old. You go back into the old stuff because for sure, human beings had some sort of an influence on what was written down and what wasn't written down. But you get
Christians are portrayed almost always negatively in movies and stuff like that, unless the movies are made by Christians, which then they end up usually not being that good of movies.
To the teachings of Christ.
Sadly, there's some exceptions, but explicitly Christian media doesn't usually end up being that good, if we're being honest.
I can't find any faults in it. It's all about being kind. It's all about this idea that we're all in this together and that you're supposed to lift each other up and look after each other. There's no faults in it. It's not like you have to kill the non-believers. It's not like you get to rape and pillage for the non-believers and the infidels must die. There's none of that.
That's why Christians believe in objective truth, that it must be objective.
Well, like I watch a lot of horror movies, right? And that's like a big theme of like the evil Christian guys. You see that trope over and over.
Objective truth, because otherwise why is most of the world following this as though it's objective truth? We seem to be leaning towards this as though this must be the thing which is objectively real and objectively true, and a thing which we can point to that is. Because when people are introduced to it, like you just said, it's really hard and difficult to find fault in it. It's not just that. You know, it's interesting. If we reverse it, if we say, what could I do that actually would be the best for me, it would still be that.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest part of the whole thing. It's like both ways it works for you, even if it's not all about you, or it works for you, even if it is all about you. It's still going to be the better message out of the two.
It's definitely a better framework for living your life. And there's a lot of people that just reject that think of themselves as intelligent.
Does it work if you? I wasn't super closely paying attention there, but it sounded like he said like if you adopt these ethics, everything's gonna be good regardless of your motivation. And maybe that's not what he said, but I'm a little bit skeptical. I think if you're very selfish motivated, then you can't really adopt the ethics, because the whole idea of the ethics is like, I don't just care about myself and that's why my community's better. But I don't think most people are capable of like that level of like autistic rationale where they're like, I only care about myself, but therefore I'm going to act like I don't. But I might have misunderstood what he said.
You know, they think of themselves as intelligent and well-read.
You listen to it. That's okay.
Educated.
I'm too smart.
I'm too smart.
I'm wrong.
I'll just
I'm an
take the
atheist.
L or whatever.
Any atheist needs to take 8 grams of mushrooms. Just
do a little DMT.
Do a little DMT, and you're like, oh, I don't know anything. You think you know things. You don't know a fucking thing. You just know what you've experienced. And I think that the world is better off if people have a great moral and ethical framework. I think morals and ethics and being kind is one of the most important values that human beings can ever possess if you want to live in a productive and healthy community.
Completely agree.
He's dropping trooks. The world is better if people are good.
And I think that kindness, I make a delineation between kindness and niceness, because I think it's often kind not to be.
I mean, you know what, when you put it that way, QZ, whatever, I so selfishly want to get that I'm going to be that actually does kind of make sense, I guess. Like that could work. I could see that working.
Be nice.
Right.
But I do think that you can be nice and it may not be kind.
Right.
And so
that's true.
So I make a delineation between those things. I don't think that
$3. You also have to drink holy water off of a dead saint's foot. That's non-negotiable. Ortho Chud Max are out.
Is that a real Orthodox thing?
Kindness, though, has much variance.
I don't know enough about Orthodoxy. When people say stuff like that, I'm like, is that real?
Kindness is looking after the interest of somebody who's not me.
And it makes everybody, it's actually selfish. Because it makes you feel good too.
Yeah, there is something.
You can look at it that way.
Sure, from the position.
Niceness, man. I watched this movie. I'm gonna give you guys some homework, especially if you're members, because I'm probably gonna make this like a members only video that I'm gonna record tomorrow. If you get the chance, and it's on Amazon Prime, watch the movie Uncontained 2025. Although it's not a great movie. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a great movie, but I watched it. I had it on as I was working the other day, and I want to talk about it. And I need somebody to watch it so they'll get what I'm saying. But it touches on this theme of what we're talking, because in that movie, the bad guy is the good guy. But the movie is like totally oblivious of this. And that is because the protagonists are portrayed as nice and the bad guy is portrayed as mean. And so I guarantee you 99% of people who watch this movie never even, it is a zombie movie. They never pick up, like, that thought never goes through their head of like, oh, the good guys are actually like evil and the bad guys are actually good. And so it says a lot about...
The Orthodoxer sent $3. Yeah, it's real. I drank off the foot really centrally and thought I was turning on this brown ortho chick with it, but it gave her the ick.
Thank you. Nobody would pick up on this because people just associate niceness with being good and being a little bit of a mean with being bad. But so somebody needs to watch that.
I'm trying to convince the unbeliever.
And then watch my members only video tomorrow.
Right? Appealing to their self-interest may not be the worst idea.
Right.
You know, appealing to like, well, has the lack of community and let's just assume for a second. Let's just assume it's all bullshit and it's all nonsense. Every bit of it is just totally made up. We just made it up, right? But we all acted as though it was true. If it's the case that your whole framework is that we just want a society that really works well and does the best it can possibly do for everyone, then shouldn't you, by your own framework, just pretend it's true?
Right. Yeah.
Shouldn't you just act as though it's true
2 times.
anyway?
I'm not going to lie. I am not going to go super long today, so...
Peterson
I'm probably just going to go like another 15 minutes or so and call it a day.
Believing in God, that if you act as if God is real, you will have a better life.
Gene Hackman was the good guy in Unforgiven. I've never heard that take before, but now I want to watch the movie again.
Like it works. It really does work.
Almost like a universal truth.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. It's fascinating.
The Rumble stream was a little bit late, DD. That was my bad.
That people that are self-professed atheists and people that think of themselves as too intelligent for religion won't acknowledge that. They don't want to believe that. And so many of them that I know that are self-professed atheists are some of the most miserable people. They're very depressed. A lot of them are on psychiatric medications. A lot of them are in therapy. A lot of them are really fucked up.
They're almost cursed.
It's not groundbreaking, Bizwaf. It's not. They're not splitting the atom or anything here. It's true.
Almost seems like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the thing is interesting is
there's
like
probably people who like maybe need to hear this, but we're just not them. I'm Indian and I shut down. Everybody's just like, wow, I can't believe Andrew Wilson is on Joe Rogan. That's crazy. Yeah, maybe I'll just call it a day. I got work to do. I got stuff to do. Oh, by the way, I said I was going to do movie night. What's the movie? Command and Conquer, no, Master and Commander. And I yesterday morning, I was like, okay, Master and Commander, put it in the Discord. Don't forget, you got to download it. And I just got so distracted getting ready for the progress report. And then I thought about it again, after the show when my nerves were all wired. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be watching Master and Commander right now with the Discord. And I just when I remembered that, I was like, as if after the day I've had. So next month, I will get you next month. Okay. In February, we're bringing back movie nights. That's my bad. Chat. I just got really busy and forgot, but I'll get you on the next go around. Okay. All right. That's the show for today. We'll be back tomorrow with Media Fridays. You guys have a good one. I will catch you on the flip side. Peace out.